Welcome back to another episode of the Pain, Performance, and Pohada podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nick Smith. I'm a licensed physical therapist and strength and conditioning coach for Jiu Jitsu and other combat athletes. Today's a bonus episode. Today marks the 1 year anniversary of being here at the Forge. So if you're listening in on through the podcast, I'm sitting in my actual gym right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see this is kind of a hybrid location of many sorts. But basically, the Forge was a transition or pivot in my career where I was doing a lot of almost exclusively digital work with grapplers, strength and conditioning, rehab. And it got to be to a point where, for the local community, my teammates, other people in the surrounding area, I would do a lot of evaluations at home at their place. And with time being a little bit more cut and wanting to be home more with my daughter, I wanted to come up with an idea of a way for me to be able to still be a part of the community and do in-person work, because that is something that still gets me excited, but do it in a capacity that was sustainable, essentially. And I didn't really know what that really looked like, but it's what my business coaches kind of refer to as kind of a hybrid model. So I see people in person, and then their fulfillment, instead of going session by session, there are sessions and check-ins and reevaluations, but a lot of the feedback and day-to-day work is done remotely. So it allows me, for people who are local, to be able to see them, get their hands on them, do their assessments. And so how this kind of came about is I was invited by my buddy Abe. Abe is a great friend of mine. He was a literal day one training partner for me when I started jiu-jitsu. And he started bringing his kids to another jiu-jitsu spot in the Chino area, which is where I'm from. And he just invited me to come through. He's like, hey, man, I cross-train here. Coach here is awesome. Come take a class. And I knew about this gym. I knew that it was local. I just hadn't gotten around to training with it. The head coach here, Sean Roberts, is very well known in the jiu-jitsu community if you've been around for a while. He was a very active and competitive black belt, absolute stud. And coincidentally, when he was training at black belt, he was training under my coach, Lucas Leach. So I've seen him around at tournaments. We've talked a little bit, but, I started going to the morning class, and, I hadn't really envisioned me working here necessarily, but, after just discussing, talking, what his dreams were for this gym. He's got this huge 10,000 square foot facility with an extra room, and we just kind of got chatting, and kind of one thing led to another, and he wanted to build out something unique where he would have a dedicated strength and conditioning program for his competition team, for the kids. Those of you who probably hear that, you're like, what? Like, dedicated strength and conditioning program for the kids? Yeah, this isn't a thing. To my knowledge, there's no other gym there isn't a gym that does anything like this. So the way it kind of progressed from there was, hey, I'm going to be this dedicated strength and conditioning coach. And I was kind of in this phase of like, do I want to have a hybrid spot? And, after some discussion, I was like, hey, you have this space here. It's not being used. What are the plans for this space? And he's like, nothing. We don't have anything here. It would turn into the gym for the kids to have the competition class. So I basically just like, hey, what are you going to do with the hours outside of those? He's like, I don't know. So we ended up working out a deal, and now I'm here. The Forge is established. And what's pretty unique about this space, when I first started off, all I had was just my table and just some hand weights. And over this last year, it's evolved a couple different times, getting some different equipment. We have everything you would need for a full-blown group class for the kids, as well as, me be able to run my business through Smith Forge Strength and Conditioning, do anything that's rehab or strength and conditioning based. Everything's in here that I would need. I can do force assessment testing I can do, we have full squat rack, benches, Olympic lifting, everything you can think of we could do here. Um, you know, we're slowly adding pieces. Just recently got an assault bike so I can torture some people with their cardio, do cardio testing while I'm here. Um, but this space is really unique. Like, as I'm looking at the camera, as you're listening to me here, I'm staring at the mats. I am directly connected to this gym. We share a hallway. There's not a lot of places like that where, you can just like go into a gym and be like, hey, you have Jiu Jitsu, wrestling, physical therapy, strength and conditioning, all under one roof. And it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. Just to kind of say, this is hopefully going to become the model of something for not just for gyms, for the adults, but hopefully for the kids moving forward, where gym owners are going to start looking into that, thinking a little bit bigger as this becomes a little bit more holistic. Training jiu-jitsu is really important. Injuries are so prevalent. Being physically fit and not overdoing too much jiu-jitsu with not enough balance of strength and conditioning, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more gyms doing both, or somehow integrating jiu-jitsu within strength and conditioning facilities. I see that being a more frequent business model, seeing how this is kind of progressing. And what's really cool about this and really unique is this is dedicated to kids. I mean, Sean does have an adults class. There are some great adults that train here. But in terms of competition, a lot of the energy goes towards the kids. The competition class is homegrown. There's no poaching as of right now. There have obviously been kids who have switched over, but it's not like some of the other major gyms who have kind of cherry-picked some studs from local gyms to kind of train there. A lot of these kids are homegrown from white belt, and they're making waves at ADCC Opens, Pan's Kids. So, I have this really awesome opportunity to grow a strength and conditioning program with a competition class of kids. And it's dedicated towards them, which I just think is so cool. And this really wasn't something that I had originally envisioned for Smith Forged or for the Forge in general. But, Sean and I both have this kind of vision that it aligns with our vision of, hey, we're trying to make jiu-jitsu better. And yes, I still work with primarily adults and trying to change their perception of rehab and how they take care of their bodies based on horrible experiences, horrible information that they've gathered over the course of their life, and try to create a large pivot point in their adult years so they can train jiu-jitsu for the rest of their life. But now, align that same vision, that same vein, is an opportunity to create wonderful habits for the next generation of grapplers, where physical therapy, strength and conditioning, mobility, all the things, recovery, all these things that are what makes a grappler, whether you're a competitor or even a hobbyist, all can be part of jiu-jitsu. It's not just learning the martial art, but how to take care of your body holistically, where these kids are now going to have habits that are built in very early and they can use for the rest of their lives. Hopefully they stay in jiu-jitsu, great. Hopefully they also explore and taste some other sports, wrestling, gymnastics, whatever it is that they get into, and be able to take those same concepts of improved movement patterns, taking care of their bodies, fueling themselves well, protecting their joints, and be able to set themselves up for the rest of their lives. If they stay in jiu-jitsu, awesome. I want that for them. I think it's a great sport to be a part of for the rest of your life at some capacity. But the life lessons, the ability to take care of your body can transcend way beyond the sport itself. And, Sean and I are along that same vision. And so while this wasn't my original intention of when I started this, it makes so much sense. It just lines up so nicely. And, this first year, there were some slow starts. We didn't get the kids program kicked off right away. We had some equipment things that came through, and it took a little bit of time. But now that it's really up and running, there has been a lot of evolution in this last year, but I really do feel like we're just getting started. These kids are really starting to get really freaking strong. They were already strong before, and now learning how to move properly, learning how to squat, learning these fundamental positions. I'm already seeing confidence in them on the mats and in their competitions. And competition season is about to start picking up again. And I'm so excited to see them just ragdoll their opponents because they're on a different level now. Like I said, this doesn't exist anywhere else. And I see iterations of this continue to evolve and change as I continue to grow, learn, improve my skill set, improve my coaching ability to be able to communicate with these kids and give them the best possible opportunities to set them up for success. But I'm just generally so fired up about this. Yeah, I think it's something that's so cool, and I really hope that this kind of becomes the catalyst and the more norm. I hope to see more spots like this open up, where the kids programs are evolving. They're getting good coaches, good support from all the different aspects of jiu-jitsu, and being able to, like I said, take care of their bodies for the rest of their lives. But this is a little bonus episode. Just want to get on a little rant and just celebrate, 1 year at this spot. How freaking cool is this? I have such a rad job. Owning a business can be really tough sometimes. It's all on me ultimately, but my ability to be creative and to be able to serve a community that cares and to be able to serve a community that I really, really genuinely love, genuinely love. And this is just the coolest fucking job on the world, man. I'm just so fired up about it, and it's still so early. I expect a lot early on, but I know it's going to take some time to grow and to catch on. But momentum is building, and I'm really, really excited about what the future holds. But I'm hoping to see more of this pop up. I really do. I hope this becomes the norm. These kids deserve to have good coaching and to be taught well and to not be given bad information, to be riddled with injuries so early and have like the support that they need. But a little bonus episode. Hope you enjoy it. I'm just going to post this. No edits. Screw it. But until next time, if you like the show, man, the best thing you can do to support it, like and review 5 stars. Share it with a friend. Share it with your training partner. Try to keep these things fun and light. And I hope you guys have been enjoying them. If you want to hear about a specific topic, shoot it over to me. I'd love to talk about it, dig into it a little bit more. But until then, remember, you shouldn't fear the pain, respect it. See you next time. See you.